Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the Unscripted podcast. This is your boy Gavin, aka Gavo, aka Coke, aka whatever you want to call me. If you listen today, I want to welcome you. This is NBA Thursdays. So if you don't follow the podcast, it's your first time listening. We're everywhere. We're on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook for sure, because we're always on there. But be sure to check us out. So we do a podcast. We, as in the other half of my other podcast, the Unscripted podcast, is As the GOAT. He actually bailed on me. He lives in Indy right now. But nonetheless, it's all good. We talk about culture. We talk about sports. Actually, Ez didn't bail on me. Let me go ahead and rephrase that. He actually got a better job. He moved. But he still calls me up, fuss me out when I do things ridiculous, when I do things ratchet, when I do things that's right. And he tell me I don't know anything about sports, which is why we have him. But nonetheless, we're going to keep this thing rolling. So we started a new segment called NBA Thursdays, where we're going to just check in on Thursdays, probably accidentally end up recording on Wednesdays like we're kind of doing tonight, just to flush it out and make sure it all makes sense. And we're going to talk about some hot topics. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Like I said, shout out to all of our sponsors, whether it's Carolina Blue Cigars, whether it's Queen City Wings, whether it is Exchange Consulting. Shout out to the shirt. I don't know if you can see it. I'm showing it right now. Go pick it up. Shout out to Corey. He always supporting. Shout out to our favorite realtor, Otavius Douglas. He always looks out. We actually had him on to talk about Cam and the Panthers a couple weeks ago. So check out his episode. And also, if you need to buy a home, please hit him up and tell him we sent you. New segment, NBA Thursdays. Before we even get there, shout out to the Panthers. They let us down, but they did a good thing. They had a good, respectable season. Couple of injuries. Cam had zero help. I was actually thinking about trying out for the Panthers, but I can't catch. I can throw the best spiral, but it's not going to be accurate. But I was actually, the Panthers, they got a little ways to go. Next year, we fired a couple of people over the last couple of days, so we should have something that's worth looking at in the future. But also, Jerry Richardson, he's in trouble. A couple of racist, sexist things that's out there. We're going to see how that goes. Diddy wants to buy the team. Steph Curry wants in. And I want in. I ain't got no money, but that's not the point. But everybody wants to own the Panthers, and let's hope everything at least stays in Charlotte. That's the plan. We need this team to stay in Charlotte. I know they were talking about moving the team out there by Carowinds. Horrible idea. Keep the money in Uptown. But also moving the team out there will help, according to Ezra, will help bring money into other parts of Charlotte and North Carolina, which I do agree with. But I like keeping it on a public transportation line. I actually like keeping it in Uptown Charlotte. I think it'd be better for everyone if we just do that. So, but there's a couple of things that's going out there. But first of all, let's get on the NBA. We're going to try to keep these things short, probably about 15, 20 minutes every time. But let's hop on the NBA. First things up, this is a Charlotte podcast. This is a North Carolina podcast. Ez is from Columbia. I'm from Charlotte, born and raised. He was born and raised in Columbia. So go Gamecocks. Actually, I roll with the Tide, roll Tide. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But we got to talk about our North Carolina teams being the Charlotte Hornets if we're going to talk about basketball. Disappointing season. I know a couple of people who probably going to be tuning in. A couple of people told me that the Hornets would be a top 3 team. Doesn't look that way. And the saddest part is because whenever the Hornets do good, they usually take 3 years off. I know it sounds crazy. And if you are a Hornets, a Bobcats, any type of fan of the team, you probably can agree with me. We'll go to the playoffs. The next 2 years, we missed the lottery. I always tell people there's 4 tiers in the NBA, right? There's the rebuilding teams. Those are your teams that's tanking. The best tier is actual contenders. The second tier is those teams that's possibly contending or on their way to contending. And then you have this terrible tier, the worst tier of them all, where the Hornets seem to live at, which is the third tier, which is we don't know what we're doing. We throwing shots in the dark. We're hoping we make one. We hoping something sticks. And those teams are kind of like your Hornets. They're kind of like your Memphis Grizzlies. They're kind of like, in recent years, your Detroit teams. They're not like the Wizards, so to speak, which is on their way to contending. They are a couple of pieces away, right? Or what Indiana used to be, what OKC, is right now. Your contending teams is your Cavaliers, your Golden State, your Houston, the Spurs. Those are only 4 teams that can ever win the championship in the last like 2 or 3 years, right? Then you have your teams, like I just stated, that's on their way. OKC is one of those teams. In the East, it's really no team. None of you guys are going to win the championship. None of you guys are getting close. Most of those teams in the East live in that third tier. The fourth tier is kind of what, let's trust the process. You got Philly here. You got Phoenix, clearly. I don't even think they care about winning games. You remember a couple years ago when Philly was so bad, they actually had like players calling plays. Whatever. So the Hornets, though, we got the city. We got the market. We have the big name owner. Who doesn't want an owner like Michael Jordan? No comment. But the thing is like, and I've met Mike. He's a cool guy. I met him like 2 or 3 times. He's always been cordial, been nice, real cool dude. But the thing I noticed about the Hornets is they live in that third tier, which is horrible, which is terrible when it comes to basketball. Because what happens is you either get kicked out in the first round or you barely miss the playoffs, right? Cool. So then what's the next best thing? Are you attracting any free agents? Probably not if you're in that third tier. And then also it's like you're probably just missing the lottery, the best draft picks. In the draft, every year we draft, only 2 rounds of the draft, and you probably out of that are going to get about 10 players that's going to be in the NBA in 5 years, right? I don't even know the stat, but if I had to guess, I'm guessing probably about 10 guys last after 5 years, probably less than that. So you're hoping that you get a good draft pick. The Hornets seem to never get the good draft picks, and when they do, they don't take the right people. For a couple of years, and everybody that knows me, you know how I talk, you know how I keep it 100 every time. What the Hornets was doing, we was drafting white forwards. You think I'm playing? We always got a forward, and it seemed like they always seem to be the tall, lanky, unathletic white guys. I don't know why. We love them here. The Celtics love them also. But guess what? We were exactly where the Celtics were probably 5-6 years ago. And look where they're at right now. And look where we're at. So everyone will always come to me and they say, okay, so what you hearing or what's going on? If you follow Twitter, the word is that Kemba Walker is going to be on the move in a couple of, by the trade deadline. Do I think it's going to happen? I think if the Hornets decide that they want to fall down to that 4th tier, that tanking tier, that rebuilding tier, I think they will move him. He's the most valuable asset we have. Unfortunately, no disrespect to whoever this might fall into, but Nicholas Batum is not the answer. His contract is horrible. Marvin Williams, Big Marv, his contract horrible. MKG, he's going to be on the move soon. Hopefully we don't give him nothing crazy. But, we have bad contracts. Dwight Howard's making $27 million a year. Nobody knows why. He is balling out this year, but he's still, he's overpriced. He's overpaid. But that's what you got to do to show people we'll pay them. To put it in perspective, I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that the last couple of years, if you look at the finals and you look at the MVPs, who has always been the final MVP? A small forward. So whether it's LeBron James, whether it's Kevin Durant, whether it's Andre Iguodala, whether it's Kawhi Leonard, it's always been a small forward. So if you don't have a all-star or a superstar small forward, you're not winning the championship. And so somebody's going to say right now, well, Iggy is not a superstar nor an all-star. And I will agree with you, but I will say this. He played at an all-star level. In that finals, he played at an all-star level. Can somebody say right now we could see Nicholas Batum playing at an all-star level in the finals? I don't think so. He is a ball stopper. He slows the ball down. The Hornets love to get up and down the court. We even got Dwight running up and down the court. So Nicholas Batum, if you ever notice, if you ever watch the Hornets, he slows the ball down. And as he should. If you're making $140 million, I want the ball going through you too. Now, the reason why I have a problem with Dwight is because I look at him and say, in the last 30 seconds of the game, is he going to score? No. Is he going to get in there and get a rebound? More than likely. But then you also ask yourself this, is he going to be playing in the last 3 minutes of any game that's meaningful? Probably not, because he can't make free throws. So like I said, the word is that Kemba is going to be on the move. I really I hope not, but then at the same time, I look at it like this: do him that favor. You know, he's a good guy. He has great talent. You could probably get a draft pick for him, which isn't a bad thing. And you can send him to somewhere like San Antonio, but you're not going to get a high draft pick, right, for San Antonio. But you could possibly send him somewhere. San Antonio definitely wants him. Ez, who is a Spurs fan, go Spurs, go, whatever. He definitely wants to see Kawhi down there because he's, you know, as he says, it'll take them to the next level, which I actually do agree with. So we could see what'll happen with Kemba, Kawhi, and whoever else they might get. So somebody asked me, what's my solution? Shout out to Jack. He'll be on here in a couple weeks. Shout out to Randy. I know he listens from time to time. My solution is simple. Tank. Go get Zion Williamson and start over. Right now, it's 3 teams worse in the NBA than the Hornets. And I believe it's the Jazz, the Bulls, and dang it, I can't think of maybe Phoenix. Probably Phoenix. So those 3 teams. Other than that, you sitting at the 4th spot. The Nets just so happen to be doing really good this year. I mean, better than what anybody. I think we all thought they weren't going to win one game. They're actually doing pretty decent. So when I look at it and I say, you can go ahead and tank. You let Dwight walk after this, ship Kemba off. And if you can find somebody to take Nick Batum, feel free to do it. Push the reset button because right now you're staying stagnant. You've stayed stagnant for like the last 10 years in that 3rd tier, which I hate, which I don't like. If you're not wanting to tank, I will let Dwight walk or re-sign him for something cheap because Dwight's not getting a max contract from nobody. I will go ahead and start putting Monk in the starting rotation. This guy can actually put the ball in the hoop, and he does it so easily. Go ahead and let him get out there and just ball out. Let him ball out. Let him have his fun. Let him learn. Also, I would definitely go look at getting a wing player that can actually handle himself. Right now, Marv shouldn't be out there guarding nobody. No disrespect to him. He belongs at the Dow YMCA uptown. He needs to be balling up there. The man, he hits an open 3 from time to time, but he's 40, man. I don't even know if he's 40, but he looked 40. But he just need to go ahead and get that up and let it ride. He will be a great leader. I'm not saying ship him off. No disrespect to him. I actually think he can ball, but he shouldn't be playing for us. Not if, if I got anything to do with it. And look at who else you can go get. Next up is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't know what's going on up there. You know, they got off to a all right rocky start, and they got high. Lately, they've been losing. I'm interested to see how this IT situation going to start and finish. To be honest with you, personally, as a Kevin Durant fan, I support the Warriors right now. If KD go to Sacramento Kings, I'm going to support him there. But I'm not really scared, not even if they go out there and get DeAndre. One of the main reasons because of that is when I look at IT can't stop not one point guard in this league. He don't try on defense. You seen last couple days ago, he clotheslining people. But he just can't stop a point guard. He doesn't play defense. The Cavaliers, their forte is not necessarily defense. They can defend. Also, DeAndre Jordan, he's an upgraded Tristan Thompson. But he can't guard a pick and roll to save his life. That's going to be the other thing that I look at there. So I'm not really scared. Now, if they go get Boogie, then I'm getting scared because Boogie can ball. Like that's one of my favorite players in the league right now. Well, since he got in the league, I just like his attitude because he's rude and he's willing to fight anybody. He's one of those guys who's not scared to fight. But when I look at it, DeAndre ain't scaring me. Boogie is. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. If I'm the Cavaliers, that Brooklyn pick is losing value by the day, so I'm definitely trying to get rid of that. So I send it to the Lakers, the Clippers. But the Clippers looking a little bit better. But it'd be interesting to see if they can swing it. Also, you might want to throw that down in New Orleans and say, hey, y'all going to have to rebuild with AD. So here you go. Send us Boogie. We'll send you Shumpert, Derrick Rose, and whoever else you want. That'd be an interesting thing. Speaking of AD, I don't know if y'all saw it a couple of days ago, but it looks like the Warriors going to be targeting him in the offseason. And if that happens, I've told a couple of people, I'm like, if that happens, I don't see how Clay comes back. I don't see how you'll probably have to trade Clay and Draymond to get AD. But I don't see how that happens. If I'm a Warriors fan, if I'm, invested into the Warriors, I would want that, but not really, because AD can't stay healthy to save his life. So that's something you got to play with, right? He comes in, he balls, he gets you 50 and 25, or, something crazy like that, right? Then he stumps his big toe and then he's out for like a month. But the boy here's the thing I tell people, AD has probably been the best gifted player to come out maybe since LeBron. Check me on that. Let me know. Last thing, does anybody in the East even got a chance? The short answer is no. Of course, the Celtics, they balling. They have I think if the Cavs have to play Toronto in the second round and they meet Boston, then Boston definitely has a chance. But if they play somebody like Indiana or Detroit or somebody in the second round, then they go face the Celtics. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried. Nobody should be worried. That's the thing we all got to keep in our mind. But it'd be definitely interesting to see how that all plays out. Last thing is, I got to talk about him. Lavar Ball. This guy is a freaking genius. He talks entirely too much. I will give anybody that. He talks too much. He puts too much pressure on his kids. I don't agree with the calling out Luke Walton. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with him calling out his son's teammates. I think, but it is who he is. You knew what you was getting before you ordered it. It's like it's like the girl who you've talked to and she's told you who she is, and then, she told you she bougie, excuse me. She told you she ain't got no money. She told you that she's high maintenance, and then you date her and then you expect her to change all that. No. This is as advertised. Lavar Ball talks too much. He's going to say crazy stuff. His marketing, his advertisement is genius. But I think he needs to shut his mouth. And I do agree with this. I do believe his son needs to step up to the plate and go talk to his dad and say, hey, I need you to shut up. But that's not in his son's DNA. They've been going on this time where this is who they are as a dad. This is their dad. This is how they approach him, which is a whole nother story. It's time for his son to be a man to come out and stop all this madness. But I also want to talk about this with Lavar Ball. Let's go on this business. So if anybody knows, I'm a photographer. I do marketing. I do crazy stuff all the time. So I work with a couple of brands. Shout out to Cowo. Shout out to Carolina Blue Cigars. Shout out to a bunch of my sponsors. Basically, I work with them and they say, hey, we want in on the podcast. Perfect for me. So it's a win-win. But I look at Lavar Ball, right? Comes out, he got a rated F for his Better Business Bureau grade. And I'm not surprised. One, because when I look at entrepreneurs, the thing that stumps the growth of entrepreneurs is they try to do everything themselves. They don't try to hire people to do things that they don't no longer have time to do. So Lavar Ball, right? You look at his website, it's trash, it's terrible. It's designed poorly. He has like 4 different fonts on one page. Red flag, right? Then you look at it, he comes out and he sends out mixed messages. My son has a shoe coming out, pre-order now, it's $500. Great. Everybody runs to go get it. Then he announced like a week later, oh, the shoes haven't even been made yet. We're working on it. It's going to take you 6 weeks. Okay. 6 weeks come and pass. Nobody has their shoes, right? Now you have celebrities. Shout out to the game. Shout out to Shannon Sharp saying, hey, I haven't got my shoes yet. So if they're not getting their shoes, then we know I'm not getting my shoes, right? You have Charlemagne today, and he's still saying that, hey, it's been 6 months. I still don't even have my shoes. Something's not up. Then they don't respond. Lavar Ball needs to go ahead and hire someone to handle his marketing, his brand's voice. Your marketing is simply your brand voice. He needs to hire somebody to do that. He also needs to get somebody to distribute his shoes. Shout out to Amazon. I know they're partnering with Nike, but it might be something good for him to look into, or saying, hey, who can handle my shoes going out? So we just restock it. And when, we have 20 shoes only left, we go ahead and say we sold out, and we'll personally get rid of those. He needs somebody on his team. He needs me. Please, somebody send this to Lavar. I'm on your team. I'm a small baller, but we can grow. Anyway, man, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I do want to go through some mid-seasons awards. My MVP has to be LeBron James. My most improved player probably has to be Victor Oladipo, even though I got to check and see if he's still hot right now. But my disappointing team right now is the Thunder. Actually, they're not my disappointing team. My disappointing team is actually the Timberwolves. Actually, the Thunder was actually the team I thought they were going to be. You gave the second worst shooter in the NBA, high efficient, high volume shooter. You gave the second worst high volume, high efficient, inefficient shooter the number one high volume, inefficient shooter. You get to pick and choose who that is. If I was a Thunder, I would have personally just got PG, let Melo go somewhere else. I would have kept Oladipo. That way everybody's in their natural position and the ball moves. Melo is a ball stopper. Melo's been the exact person we thought he was. I'm not surprised. The Knicks are happy. Shout out to Porzingis and what he's doing up there. But nobody's surprised. Also, so we got most improved. The team, what I think that's going to happen to the Lakers, I think they're going to, what always happens to the Lakers, they're going to come out on top. And on top for them is they're going to get the draft position they need, because if they fall between 3 and 5, they lose that position. So don't be surprised the Lakers get the number 2 draft pick this upcoming season, which would be interesting, right? The Hornets, I do think they're going to miss the playoffs. I need them to get a top 5 pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if it falls later. Anywho, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Leave your comments, your thoughts. Shout out your favorite team. Sorry for all the hiccups. This is my first time doing this. We are going to try to start doing this live so everybody can join in the conversation. But I do want to thank y'all. Join us. Follow us on Facebook at Unscripted Podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Unscripted Pod. Instagram, Unscripted Pod. And we'll holler at you.